Yeah, no matter what I do, I can't get that transition to happen. I tried every which way but loose. So the only way I can do that is maybe do some video editing on my side using
Video
the
editing?
awesome Vast Video Creator or something like that to merge those two videos together to make it more of a seamless intro. Maybe that's a thing. Yeah, maybe I could do that. Yeah. I'll just talk to myself. Welcome to October 5th, Marketing Made Easy. My name is Joey Ragona. Nice to see you here. Thank you for being here live on the replay. Thank you for being on the replay. And we've just started, but I'm just saying that just in case for the replay, hashtag
Welcome to
live. If you
the
are on the call with us right now, we would love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments that you're here, where you're from, anything like that. We're going to be talking today about positioning. And I'm going to bring in Scott Vogel, as always, who's waiting patiently to talk about positioning today, to talk about what I just learned that you didn't read the positioning book yet from Ries and Jack Trout. And that just blew my mind. And yeah, so what's the story there, man?
I'm ashamed, Joey. I should feel terrible, and I do, that I haven't read Positioning. And of course, now I have to go buy another book and read it because Joey said so.
Oh, making fun of you already. I'm talking about this book. Where is it here? Right here. And I just showed this to Scott in just before we went live. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see how yellow this book is and how old this thing is. This is one of the Bibles of marketing. And I was telling Scott how this all came to be for me. And this says on the cover here, the 1981 classic, now updated. So this was 1986 or something when I got this, just to tell you how old this was. And it was already the classic. And it's funny because positioning is all about the battle for your mind. You can see that right on the cover. I don't know if you can get this classic book anymore. I do have another copy because I don't want to touch this one. So I'm highlighting the other one, but I digress. The funny story about this is when I first started marketing and didn't know really about marketing, and I was buying textbook marketing books, the stuff that they teach you in high school or college or whatever. And my brother-in-law was doing official marketing. He was gonna become a marketer, whatever they call those things in college, degrees or something like that. I don't know, whatever it was. and and so I thought I had something in common, and I went to go read the books, and I stumbled upon this one here, Positioning and Guerrilla Marketing, which you did read, by Jay Levinston. Is that who it is? You're muted, bro. Did I mute you or
Yeah, J. Conrad Levinson and Seth Godin wrote that one.
Seth Godin? Really? You just taught me something.
I've got it on my coffee table, and when I picked it up again to review it, I was like, huh, that's interesting because I thought it was just J. Conrad Levinson. I'll
Yeah,
bring it in the office. And thank you very much for recognizing that I was here, Joey. I figured you were just going to keep going
we
uh,
did recognize that you were here, bro. We
on your
brought you
own. I mean, you just like you never usually go off that much on your own without at least a pause. And
in.
you must be like, you must be like, so did you do like Atlas or something
I
today?
did. I'm on an Atlas high already.
That's
Like
what
it just doesn't stop, right?
that's
It's
what
funny
it is.
because we talked about Atlas. We talked about the business that generates or going into a business that you love. And
Yeah.
one of the things I talked about today, which was when you're working with dream clients, it energizes you throughout the day,
Yeah.
because me as an introvert, I usually lose energy. And here we are, it's proving that now I've gained energy and now I just can't shut up.
Well, when you engage in something you love with people you love, it's like, why wouldn't I want to not do this
Right,
on a daily basis?
right. That's the whole thing. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about, you and the whole book and positioning. I'm sure you know about positioning, like what it's all about. And I've got some notes here that I've taken from a mastermind I was in with Eben Pagan, who again references this book. And I've got some notes that I took from this book. So we'll kind of just jump all the way through it, but it's something that we do every single day. What are your insights on positioning and how it's being used today to market or to get in front of people?
Wow, that's a big question with a lot of answers. Let me start with the the simple and maybe grow a little complex from there. I believe that so many people that are in the marketing world, in the business world, in the entrepreneurial space get caught up in the imposter syndrome and comparison syndrome. Well, this one charges this, and this one's doing this. And well, how can I do this when this one's doing this and this and that and that? Rather than positioning yourself as the go-to person, as the expert, as the person that can help them from the get-go. And it kind of sounds like we talk about this all the time, and we should. It goes back to the dream client. When you position yourself in their minds as this is the expert, this is the person that I need to, because they have positioned themselves as the expert. Elsa Meldridge, a dear friend, colleague, mentor, mentee, he wrote a book called How to Position Yourself as the Obvious Expert. And it was a great book. And he interviewed like a few hundred people that became like an anthology of a book. And it was, how do you position yourself as the obvious expert? And Angel, I like her word called omnipresence, is how you position yourself out in the marketplace, that when somebody sees your name or your brand, they immediately know what that stands for, because you position yourself out there as, oh, that's the blank person. Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen. Oh, the chicken soup for the soul guys.
Yeah, and so you're talking about like to reference what the book is about is that we're there's positioning as categories. That's what it's really all about, is creating a new category in the mind. So it's not about positioning what it is about us, but it's more about, it's a game that you play in someone's mind, to position in their mind to be the first one to say, oh, that's Scott, that's what he does, right?
Mhm.
And the thing is that you don't position your product by comparing it to other products, which is a lot of people do, is like, what's your product do? Well, it's kind of just like that, but better. And
Yep.
that's like completely wrong, because you what happens is, when you reference another product, Coca-Cola, right? Well, my Coke is, Coca-Cola, right? Great. Well, it's just as good as that. I mean, it's better than that. It's like Coke, but it's better.
Right.
Well, Coke already has that position in someone's mind as the cola. And so if you talk to somebody, say, what's your favorite cola? Usually they're going to say Coke or whatever, just as an example. And you can't position against that. You have to either remove that position, which is very difficult to do, which we'll talk about a little bit, or create a new category. And that's what this is all about, is how to create a new category in someone's mind that you take first position over. Because second and third don't matter. Like, in the ladder of the mind, it doesn't matter. You have to be first to say, that's Scott, because fast video, you want to make fast videos, it's all about Scott,
Yeah. And
right?
Joe, yeah, totally. And one of the things that I've been saying the last year or two is, how do you get them to sing your song in their head?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing with positioning, is when they think about the situation, the product, the service, the problem, well, not the, what is it that comes first? I used to do that in the restaurant industry. I wanted the experience to be so amazing that when people are like, where should we go out to eat? Oh, we got to go to Spanky's, or we got to go here. We got to go to
Well,
Two
how
Brothers.
did you position differently there? What was the difference of that? Like, what was the category of the restaurant? Like, what did you create besides a great experience?
It was a New York style deli, was
Okay.
the actual product itself. But people came and said, I don't know why I feel so good about myself when I'm in your restaurant. I'm like, I do. It's because of the way we take care of you, the way we care about you. And it's intentional, that when they're like, where should we go eat? Well, let's go to Two Brothers. Let's go to Size. Let's go to this one. Let's go here, because why? Because they care about us. And the food is delicious, and the service, and this. And every time we go, there's something cool or fun or different. As opposed to, yeah, come on, Chrissy. Say hi, Chrissy.
Hey, Chrissy.
How you doing? Or I'm not. Can I ask you one quick question?
Yeah.
After they spray the floor,
Okay, so
Sorry, Joey. I'll be right 1 sec.
what we're talking about here is like positioning, and how to make your how to make yourself stand out in someone's mind, like being different and more creating, not just being different, but this is all about creating a category. And I'll give you an example of this. So the I'll give you first of all, I'll give you a historic example of this, of how this worked. It's about Avis, which is the rental car company, and Avis was always losing money. They were 13, 14 years losing money, trying to compete with Hertz number one. Hertz was number one. Hertz was number one. And I'm guessing I haven't asked you this, but I'm guessing what their big slogan was, right? Do you know what it was?
We try harder.
Because
We're number two.
right. And that's how they took the position of being
Right.
number one, because
Yeah.
they said, no, we recognize we're number two, and that's what we're going to talk about. So they created another category of being number two, and they're going to try harder for your business. So they created this a completely different category, and that's how they did it. That's one way of doing it. So let's look at, fast video creator. What's the new category that you've created, if you have, or maybe I've never thought about it before?
I haven't thought about it from this standpoint.
Okay.
Basically, it's the scenes that enable somebody to make a video faster than anything.
Okay.
That's kind of, because again, I don't use it. Well, Camtasia, ScreenFlow, and After Effects. I don't say that because here's what it's going to do. It's going to enable you to get your message out faster than anything you've ever done, because we set it up for you that way.
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking for?
It kind of is. I'll give you an example that you'll get right away with the cohorts that I'm doing. Remember, you keep making fun of me by saying cohorts. That's one way
I don't
of me
do that
taking
anymore.
a program,
I haven't
or
made fun of you in a long time about your cohort, Joey.
well, not because it's so widely used. And I'm not
No,
saying I'm the guy
because I
who
stopped making
created it,
fun.
but what I've created with Atlas or
Yeah.
WMC, all the things that I do, I don't call them group coaching programs or something like
Right.
that. It's an experiential premium group, premium experiential group program, right? So that whole experiential part is the repositioning of a normal group coaching program. So I'm taking that position and owning it. So if you want to know how to do an experiential group coaching program, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that knows it. Whether it's the same freaking coaching program somebody else is doing or not,
Right.
that guy calls it a coaching program. I'm calling it experiential group cohorts.
Now, what happens, Joey, when other people, which they already are basically saying, "Oh, let me do it the way Joey's doing it."
That's fine, but I own the position. It's kind of like you going out and saying, "I'm number two. I'm Scott's rental company, and I
Right.
try harder."
Yeah.
Like, people will know that you're ripping off the person. That's why it's so important to take the position, own it, and continuously market those words or that message across to the market, so they know that that's the guy who is doing that thing. Right? So, I mean, you could say, I teach people how to do a product launch, but Jeff Walker's a product launch guy,
Right. Exactly.
right? It's all about that. So how are you? Maybe you're doing a product launch, but maybe you're call it something different, and you're just taking a different position. It's always
Right.
about how the mind of the dream prospect. How do you stand out when somebody says, I don't want to do a regular group coaching program? Then
Right.
somebody will go, you should talk to Joey,
Yeah.
because he doesn't do a regular group coaching program, right? And people
Sure.
already are beginning to understand that. And that's how you take a new position.
Well, you've created the category, Joey. It's a perfect example
Right.
of exactly what this is about. I would love to know, those that are here listening, if they've got a category, if they've created a category, if they think they should create a category, what questions do they have about creating categories so that they can position themselves. Joey, when was it Schlitz or Pabst? Which beer was it that one day came out and talked about Schlitz, the process and the water and that? And they were like, well, everybody does that. Yeah, but nobody's talking about it. Nobody's
Yeah.
ever said this is exactly the process. And now everyone's like, from the sparkling Colorado Rockies are this and that and blah. They were first, and they own it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was David Ogilvy who went in and
Right.
says, "Walk me through the process,"
Yeah.
and then he asked about the cleaning of the bottles, and they said, "Oh, it's like a standard process. Here's what we do," but
Right.
nobody ever talked about it, and that was the whole ad campaign, and that was positioned completely different and shot the Schlitz beer up to whatever it was at the time. So that's another way
Joey,
of doing it.
you also mentioned in your reply that Ogilvy went in and said, "Show me your process."
Yeah,
Is the process itself, and that's something everybody needs to understand, is everybody has a unique process. Even if you've
yeah,
copied Jeff Walker's product launch formula and then you went and did it, you're not going to do it the exact way he did it, to the exact size list with the exact situation, because you can't. And then you call it something else because you tweaked it. We both know, and everybody knows, that everybody's been tweaking since the Kennedys and the Schwartzes and the Ogilvies and the Bensavengas and the Halberts and that. Everybody's been tweaking it. There's really not anything new,
no,
which is why it's so vital to create that category that positions you.
yeah, and it's like looking at. I'm just taking a look at my notes here to help everybody listening to like zone in on this. That it is about starting with the customer's needs, obviously, and understanding what they critically need. I'm going to go back to my example because it's fresh in my mind. It's easy for me to really relate to in terms of group coaching because everybody knows what that is. And looking at the problems in the market of what people told me that they don't like about group coaching was, okay, how can I make it different? And that is what I started with. One was, I get no time with the coach. That was a big one. And
Mhm.
it's not even the coach himself. It's somebody else. Like it's this other
Right.
dude, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna fix that problem. As you know, when I answer everything and stay on for hours if it has to be, whatever. And I go, and so I fix that problem. And then I realized that people were saying, and then and this is not any news, but looking at it from this perspective, it was about, okay, well, people buy a program, but they never get past module number 2. Why
Yep.
do they do that? Well, because they're not being helped. And so why don't I insert myself into the process
Yep.
and actually walk them through and help them, quote unquote, now here's an experiential program, not just a training program to go through this and see you later or ask me a question or two on Thursday, right? It was all about and you've already seen it happen live with me anyway. So you
Yeah.
know
And
what I'm talking about here.
Joey, a big piece of that too, and this is, I don't know if it's about positioning, but I'm gonna piggyback on what you were saying, is we all know that people buy programs and courses and they don't finish them. But we
Right.
just know it. Even if you every intention, you're not going to refund. It's difficult to focus and learn and implement all of that. And when you finish the program and you're like, okay, I just got back to it, and crap, I got a question, but it's over. And I
Right.
can't get a hold of anybody. Whereas, okay, when the program ends, it doesn't end because I'm going to be around for a couple of weeks or a month. Email me, message me, whatever. It's like, wow, nobody's ever done that. Usually, okay, give me the money, go through the course. Hey, your problem. Prove to me you did all. I love them.
Yeah.
Prove
Oh
to me.
God. Show me
Prove.
the work. Send me
Show
your
me the
right arm
work.
and show me the work.
Prove to me you did everything
Yeah.
before I'll even think about giving you your money back.
Oh my God.
Like, you
Don't
know
even go
what?
down that rabbit hole.
And
Prove it.
that's another differentiator where positioning, if I don't care if you don't like my stuff at any point in time, here's your money back.
Right. Right.
Because if you're not happy in 60 days or a year from now, now granted, digital assets, all bets are off because you buy something digitally that I know is of top quality and thousands of people have purchased it. I'm not going to refund it because you already own it. You can't give it back to me. But with the software, with the training, with even copy, hey, it's going to cost you this. After I write your first few pieces of copy, if you don't love them, I'll give you your money back and keep the copy and have a nice day. And that's part of the positioning, because then when someone's like, I could get someone, or yeah, this and that. Well, why wouldn't I just pay somebody who I know is going to deliver?
Yeah, it's about the needs of the customer, understanding what your dream. You know that everything comes back to the dream client. Understanding that, understanding what. Let me just read some notes here. So, drill down into a need to find the high emotional value. That's what
Hmm.
I'm talking about. The
Yeah.
20%. And for me, the experiential part of the group coaching was a high emotional value, because I can't tell you how many emails I get complaining about coaching programs or whatever it is, and I thought that's not what I want. They're complaining about something that, if I'm willing to change that, because for me, obviously, there's a part where I can't just walk away. It's not the best evergreen model in the world from what I do. However, it's positioning myself as the go-to person for that problem, where somebody doesn't get the input, they don't get the support, they don't get time, they don't whatever, and they you know that people come to my stuff for the community, they come for the support and love and the encouragement, the accountability, the vulnerability. That is an experience. That's not a program. That's an experience. And that's what that, and you see it all, even in our group. By the way, if you're not in our group, please join our group. Let me put that up as a plug here right now.
And
You see it in the group.
where are we airing this show, Joey?
Pardon me.
Where are we airing the show this evening? On Facebook,
The only
YouTube?
place we're not on today, because I started too late, is on LinkedIn, but we're everywhere else: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Good. Well, I'm glad we didn't do the show yesterday afternoon when there
Oh,
was no Facebook.
true that, true that. Let's go to some of the comments here. So, Hoff is let's help the child fast, spot on, and together. That's positioning. Yeah, that's okay. Let me see what else she says here. A bit hard to translate as catchy. Oh, teen.
No,
Sorry.
I know. Yeah. Hi, team.
Okay, category. Here it is. Let's help the child quickly with direct effect, and together. With this, us equals grown ups, child equals post bullying, then the main challenge in the work. Let's unpack that.
Okay, let's start with the category of let's help the child.
Yeah, is so what do you think about that? What is, and teen, maybe you can help us out. Is there anybody else doing what you do? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Can you be first in the mind of that you are helping the child?
And I would want to get more specific. Let's help the child blank. What are we going to help the child quickly with direct effect and together to do? What's the end result? And because when I think about the problem, the issue, my child, bullying, the school, the teacher, bullying, what do I want? I want that to help the child to what? Is it standing up to the bully? No. Is it overcoming the bully? Is it being able to talk more effectively with parents, with teachers? What is it that actually is going to happen, that when, as time goes on, somebody is like, my child's being bullied, or I heard about bullying. Oh, you need to talk to teen. She's it, because she helps the child first and focuses on the child to get them to X, Y, Z. Does that make sense, Joey?
Yep. And it's not in this context here, it's not really it kind of is what about you and your background and your expertise, but it's more about the mind of the customer, understanding the position of what you do. Not, it's hard to say, how do I explain it? It's kind of like I said, like, where if you think about, like, uh if you think about Just Do It, you already know who I'm talking about. If you think about, what's the biggest Coke what's the biggest cola in the world? Most people are going to say Coke. It's
Right.
just, that's what it is. Whether you like it or not, you're going to say that's Coke. And it's that position. It's not because they're saying our formula is better. It's because they've positioned as whatever they positioned way back then. So if you're doing bullying, team, then can you position it as something that nobody's heard before, but it's the same thing? That's what we're trying to say, is you need to take the position of, it's not bullying. It's not bullying. It's not rectifying bullying or whatever it is. It's doing something else, but it's the same result. Am I making sense? Sounds
Yeah,
like
you're
I'm on
making
purpose.
sense. You are, Joey. And it's it's the post-bullying that apparently she's helping with. And you're spot on, is what is it that nobody else is saying or doing?
Yeah, it's taking that reposition. Anti-bullying, I think, is used a lot.
It is. Yeah.
So it's something different. Just like I told you, Teen, is like mine's not group coaching, mine is experiential cohorts. It's completely different. It's the same thing. It's still group coaching, but it's experiential cohorts. And I've even taken that where cohort is not a new word, but now I've added experiential, and I'm adding transformational to it. Experiential cohorts that transform, and it's a completely different category. So if you want to do experiential cohorts, Joey's the guy. If you want group coaching, Scott's the dude, or whatever.
I'm seeing a little bit of disconnect between her first statement and then anti-bullying. I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, team, that it's about highly the aftermath of the bullying. It says post-bullying. Then anti-bullying is getting rid of the bully, or it seems to me there's two different things happening here:
Let me
anti-bullying and post-bullying.
let me add something here that I got here from Eben. This might help you, Teen, and everybody listening. If you're listening, by the way, live, please put that in the chat, hashtag live, or on the replay, hashtag replay. It just helps Facebook know that we're doing a job well done, and maybe give us a like or a heart or whatever it is you feel, if we're doing an okay job for you. Here's how to niche down to your category. Okay, drill down into a need to find the high emotional value. I already told you, 20% that is going unmet. This is the key. The 20% high emotional value from the customer's point of view that is going unmet. The other part is discover the words, phrases, and specific emotional hot buttons that the customers use to describe it. Research and find the niche within the niche that you can own in your mind. I just explained to you how I did that. Niched from group coaching down into an experiential group coaching.
Joey, you're once again talking about the copy bank, the research, the languaging. And the gold is in there in everything we do, is looking at. You go write copy for somebody who's got a product that's been out for a while. You go look at the testimonials and you read them and you listen to them. It's like the question in the group the other day about what questions or what do you do with people join your Facebook group?
Yeah.
You ask them specific, detailed questions about their challenges, their problems, what they expect from the group. You get their email, and then you go look at them and you put them all together and you read through them and go, okay, most of the people that are coming in here are having this problem. And then you go talk to them and you find out, and that's when you start to go, okay, this is my category. This is my standout positioning statement that people can say, okay, that's who you are.
Yeah. Lorna is asking, I'm not sure how to rename what I want to do for the group program. I'm sure there are people who do relaunch, isn't there? I don't know. I'm sure you're right, but do they own that category of relaunch? That's what I would look for. And if they do, then that's okay, because if you take what I just said, Lorna, and look at the research that Scott was just alluding to, of what your customers are saying that their problems are or whatever, the keywords are within that communication, that you can pull some of those words out and say whatever it is, you piece it together. Avis is one of the best ones. We try harder.
Joey, what are your thoughts about a moniker, a title? Years ago, when I first got into when I got into the speaking world and then the marketing world, I was at one of those pitch fests in Orlando, and I met a gal named Alexandra Brown, and she was the e-zine queen. That was, I mean, we're talking now going back 20 some odd years, if not longer. And I still remember that Alexandra is the e-zine queen. I don't know if the relaunch queen or the relaunch goddess or the relaunch highness or the relaunch something. Oh yeah, she's the relaunch so-and-so.
Yeah,
Jeff,
true.
Jeff Walker, he's the product launch dude. Brendan Richard's the high performance dude. Tony Robbins is the self-help dude.
Yeah.
Can she be the relaunch
Well,
thing?
yeah, you're right. And remember, Lorna, I think there was a post that you responded to about someone asking about betas or something, and somebody asked, is Joey?" That they asked me, "Are you the expert in this or whatever?" And you responded. Remember that? You said, "Yes, he is," and you knew that right away
Yeah.
because that's all I talk about is betas, and I call it experience or group cohorts or whatever. But it's only based around those things. Other people do them, but now hopefully I'm becoming known as that guy. If you want to do a beta right and get paid up front and all these other kind of things and do experiential groups and blah, 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 Joey's the guy. And so it's just positioning as that's what I do extremely well.
You
And you
know,
can do the exact same thing. The
but
relaunch saver.
okay. I would recommend, Lorna, that however you process, whether it's on a whiteboard or a pad, I would put the word relaunch and then just put 100 words underneath it. Every kind of word you can imagine. I don't care how silly, just the relaunch queen, the relaunch savior, the relaunch saver, the relaunch queen, empress, goddess, the relaunch thingamathingy. And years ago, Joey, and here's going back to your people, what would you call me? If you went out to your people and said, if you could come up with a title for me, what would it be? I remember when I was out speaking in the wedding and event industry, the industry said, Vogel, he's the wedding and event marketing guru. That was not me, that was them. And that's what does he do? He's a wedding event marketing guy. He'll teach you how to market your business to brides like nobody can. They did that. Why? Because you're out there enough, you go back into somebody said it, you grab it. I'm sure that Lorna's got a lot of people who she's helped relaunch, and in the testimonials or the interviews are saying, well, like your stuff, Joey, when you interview people after they've succeeded, after they've learned from you, after they've got the Atlas mindset and the DCC mindset, and all of a sudden their lives change, their business changes, and they're like, I got a heart-centered kind of business. You got to talk to Joey. Get into the cohort, get into Atlas, get into DCC, get into WMC.
Well, look at so even if you look at Atlas, like people already use that as kind of an adjective or a verb. I don't know my grammar thingy very well, but anyway, they say the Atlas way. I'm doing this the Atlas way. They're already using the name of the thing, which I didn't even say do this,
right,
as an adjective, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
So they're using it as an adjective to the thing that they're doing, and that's a position. If you want to do this, you need to do it the Atlas way. That to me is a total position in someone's mind. If you want to get this result, you need to do it the Atlas way, right? If you want to go find anything about anything, you need to Google it. Like it's just a position.
Joey, another wonderful example, Ant Hodges, I believe you know him from Kajabi. Years ago, he's a total tech geek. And he is Kajabi inside and out, top to bottom, J-Cron and this and goes there. And one day he was Coach on Fire was his brand at the time. And he was working with somebody, and the guy was like, oh, it's amazing. You just fix my stuff on Kajabi. You're like the Kajabi mechanic, dude. And he became the Kajabi mechanic that nobody else could take. Unfortunately, Kajabi was like,
yeah, they didn't like that.
Sorry, nobody allowed to use Kajabi anymore in the name of your business because it's our. But the fact was, somebody did it because he didn't go out and create it. And usually you'll find it. I'm so not a queen or a goddess. Well, that's up for debate, Lorna.
It could be also, Lorna, that It's like the result of what they want.
Right.
So it doesn't always have to be just your name of the product. It could be you're helping people relaunch, but maybe the position you take is something different, where it's the result of the thing that they're getting, whatever that is. That you know, you fix your launch or something like that, where you're taking that. If you want your launch fixed, instead of relaunching, it's fixed. But then to get it fixed, the process is that you're relaunching. You're helping them relaunch it in the right way. But anyway, like you see where I'm going with this is it's a completely different position. This is what I do and do it best, and I'm the only one who does it this way.
It even could be launch rescue, or
Yeah,
again,
something like
playing
that.
with words, bar rescue. Now it's like, launch rescue,
Right.
relaunch. Again, playing with enough words. She only needs two, fortunately, because she's
Yeah.
dealing with the word launch or relaunch, and then another word that will come along and go, that's it.
Yeah.
She'll have it by next week, I'm sure.
See, the thing is here is we have to understand that when we're talking about positioning or marketing or anything, if you have to compete about what you do, you've already lost, because that means somebody has already taken that position
Yeah,
and you're going against them and you're saying, I'm better than Scott because my video thing is faster than his or whatever it is. It's like you've already lost. That's why positioning for me, I'll give you an example. I'll take you back to the very first business that I created because of this thing. And I was doing direct mail order. It was selling records to DJs all across the world, but I didn't know how to position it. Go back to positioning. And I didn't know what positioning was.
right.
And once I read the book, instead of me being just a regular mail order company, because you remember what was the dollar a penny thing? Who was that company again?
That was Columbia House
Yeah,
Record.
it was almost the same thing,
Yeah.
but I positioned as the DJ Remix Club. Do I have my cup here? No, I don't. Anyway, the DJ Remix Club. So it was specifically for a person, and instead of a penny, I don't even know the math on it, but my things started at that time is 1987 at $30 a record, and in the regular stores they were $15 at the most, usually $10 for regular 12-inch DJ thingies. I
Yep.
was already 3 times the amount. So that's another position that if you want these specialty records, you have to be accepted into our club, and you have to pay more for them. So it was positioning. It was that we're not a mail order record company. We are a DJ remix club. And that's how it was, just repositioning it, saying this is what we are. And I dominated the entire industry. They were like, who is this dude? And I came out of nowhere because it was, what's the problem? What's the thing that I can give them? And how can I position it separate from a Columbia House? Because that would be the first things that people were asking me. Oh, it's kind of like a Columbia House, right? No, dude, it's not, because these
Right.
records, and I don't
Yeah.
want to have to explain all that. And I
No.
didn't have to anymore once they said it's a DJ remix club and you get these exclusive remixes that nobody else has. Done. I'm sure you have an example you could give us
Well,
from
here's one that I want your opinion of, as far as, is it an example or where is it? I Someone else using launch rescue. Okay, that was Lorna. Well, again, synonym. Go get your super thesaurus and go find a ton of words and something that's going to jump out. Perry Belcher talks about years ago when he decided to go. He was building a funnel, and he decided to go into the candle business. And
Yeah.
rather than everybody was selling this, what was the one thing that everybody needed to make a candle? It was the wick.
Wix. Yeah.
And he went out and bought like a bazillion wicks, and he went out and made this like insane offer. It was like, get 5,000 wicks for whatever, $10, whatever the math was. And nobody could compete with him. And what happened when people got on the phone and ordered their wicks? It was like, oh, do you sell perfumes for candles? Yep. Do you sell wax? Yep. And he dominated the market, and he became the wick guy. And basically, his competitor called him up apparently one day and said, "You win. I'm out."
Right. Right.
And the category is, hey, the wick guy. You got to go buy your wicks from the wick guy. Why? It's like when Amazon first came on. Like, go to Amazon, go to Google. We talk Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
It's the real thing.
And
Is it?
you know what, the other thing here too is that I see this all the time, and I'm sure you see this too by speaking to your clients or whatever. I'm just like this. And the thing is that once someone's mind is made up, you can't change it. It's a huge
Oh
thing
yeah,
to change someone's mind. Yeah, we go through the chain of beliefs and all these other things, but if somebody has their mind made up that Coke is the best, Coke is the best. Like, I don't care how many times you want to try to sell them Pepsi, they're still going to say, I want my Coke. It's a very difficult place to be. And that's why with Ries and Jack Trout, God bless them, they thought, okay, well, instead of trying to compete with them, why don't we just create a brand new category? Here's another example of a great category: Keurig.
uh-huh, yeah.
Keurig has created two categories, if not more. But the top two categories are what? It's a single serve brewer. It's not a coffee maker,
Nope.
right? And it has pods, like freshly brewed coffee. So it's not, they're selling coffee, they're selling a coffee maker, but they repositioned
Yep.
and they're selling the exact same thing. They're selling a commodity in coffee. Now, if somebody like that can do that, we all can do the same thing. It just takes a little bit of up here to look at your customer and your problems and the things they're complaining about and saying, all right, how can I recategorize what I do and create the category? You have some work to do. We all have some work to
We
do.
all have some playing to do, Lorna.
Now, here's the thing that I want to talk about in terms of the competition. Like, how do you deal with competition? And one of the ways is to reposition against that competition, just kind of the way Avis did it. Like, so that's a great example of utilizing competition and saying, we're not that, we're this. It's almost they didn't position themselves as a new car rental thingy. It was still car rentals, but they positioned against the competition on something different, which was, we give a crap about you. We'll try harder. We just because we're not number one, and that means we got to try harder, which means in the prospect's mind, oh, they're going to care more. They're going to get clean cars. They're going to get right. So that is a very, very powerful way to position against what the competition is doing. Exactly the same as what I'm doing with group coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime somebody says, oh, it's group coaching, I say, no, it's not, because it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, it's not that. And they immediately know, oh, that's right. So your thing is different. And here's $1,000, here's 1,000 times more money for it, because I'm positioning against the regular thing. Any
How
thoughts on that?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question about two brands. And the first one is fresh hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, or it's free, guaranteed.
Yep.
And the second one is if it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
Right.
That's kind of their USP, or whatever you want to call it, their differentiator. Is
Yes.
that also a category?
Yeah.
Did they do both?
I would say they are. Like, look at FedEx, because
Yeah.
FedEx is, right away. If I said to you, Scott, listen, man, I don't know how to get this to you, but like by tomorrow, like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. You're going to
Yeah.
say, dude, call FedEx. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
You're not even going to think about it.
Nope.
You're not going to say UPS, or let me call UPS. Let me call Canpar. Let me
Yeah.
call whatever and see if they'll do it for you. No, you're going to go FedEx. And
Okay.
they're a delivery company, but
Yeah.
they've positioned as the overnight dudes.
What about Google it?
As a category?
Well, I mean, yeah. Or does that like go far above everything, because that's just become a word in language that is just foremost. If you need information, it's simple, Google it. Or is that not here within a category? Or have they created something so outside of the sphere of category?
Yeah, I think they went above and beyond. Like, they obviously created their own category, because at the time, when Google, at that point we had what, Netscape.
Netscape, AOL, Google. There were probably one or two others.
Yeah.
CompuServe.
And what they did was, basically you put anything in and we'll find it for you. I don't know the history too much to talk much about what that position
Yeah,
would be,
you know,
but
as we're talking about it, I don't think I think that's a separate thing than categorization and
I
position.
think it's still category, bro. Like, I think if we look it up and research it from the category point of view, it's there. It's just that I haven't done enough research on it to find out, like, what would it's definitely going to be, because we're so used to it now. It's part of our lives.
Right.
And to think back on, okay, what was really happening then? Because at that point I was on what, Netflix, or not Netflix, Netscape, and IE Explorer, and
Yep.
I really wasn't a lot online doing a lot of things. It was more just building the website, that kind of thing. So, and I don't even remember when Google came on board. So, but I think it's pretty much a position for sure. You can't. If Here's an example. Well, this is a good example. Look at Bing.
Mhm.
Look at DuckDuckGo. Look at all these competitors of Google. They're not Google. Even their algorithm is not Google. And like, you just proved it by somebody saying, I don't know what the answer is, and somebody will say, go Google that. They don't say, go duck it.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah,
so Google took the position of the search engine optimization. Now they may not call it that, which is what I'm curious to know, but I'm sure that that's out there if you Google it to find
yeah.
out what that is. I think Google is saying, like, grab a Kleenex. Yeah, exactly. There's another position right there. So great example is the tissue. You don't say grab a tissue. It's
Well,
clean.
yeah, they took the words right out of my mouth. You got a cold. Okay, you just sneezed here. Let me grab Kleenex.
Yeah.
Go copy this. What are you going to do? I'm going to Xerox it.
Yeah. Right.
And those companies went into the market when there was other things in the market.
Yeah. And so that's what it is. It's about taking that position in someone's mind, that when they hear those words or that phrase, that it references you. That's all I'm trying to do all the time about everything that I talk about, right? Whatever it is, dream client, dream client, dream client, dream client, everything's dream client. Hey, Joe, if you want to know dream clients, it's Joey. You want to experiential coaching cohorts, it's Joey. You want to go beta, you want to make Joey, Joey, Joey. So it's just continuous of learning from the market, saying, what are the words or what are the things that they're talking about, especially on the problems. Because if you take the problem and then reverse that, it's it's easier to do it that way. What are the problems that everybody's talking about, and create maybe a category out of that. We don't do videos fast. What do? We do something different from whatever everybody's telling you. This is the category we are. We are not a video software company. What are you? That's the positioning.
Interesting, Joey. It says that Google's original name, according to Sanford's David Kohler, that it was in 1996, their foray into the world of search engine was initially called Backrub. And then they ultimately raised $1 million from family, friends, and investors. And it was derived from a misspelling of Page's original plan name, GOOGOL, a mathematical term for the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. For Google, 100 zeros. There you go. Just some
That's cool.
little
Yeah, that's cool.
information that we don't need to keep.
We'll file it away.
File
You
it
need
away.
to take into account different countries. What do you mean by that, Lee? If you can explain that one.
What something means in this country would be completely different in Japan. For example, if Lorna called herself the Launch Highness, and in another country, Highness is reserved only for
Yeah, okay.
royalty, and they would take offense at somebody calling themselves Highness and would come off.
Well, that's why it sounds to me like it's the naming thing is cool, but it's also, if you went to Japan and said, "What's the biggest cola you have?" they're still gonna understand what cola is.
Right.
So they're still gonna say maybe Coke. I don't know what it is, but they're still gonna understand that that's the category is a cola. And what are you? Well, I'm not a cola. I'm an energy drink. There's another example. Same thing. I'm an energy drink, and it's another position in the category of colas or sodas or soft drinks or whatever you want. Right? Gatorade is another one.
Right.
Okay, we're not a juice. We're not this. We're a power juice thingy, whatever it is. Category. And when you
Oh,
think
yeah,
about
almost
how to replenish your electrons and all that kind of stuff, whatever it is, you go, I'm going to get a Gatorade.
by the way, Ramune in Japan is the most popular soft drink.
Nice.
And they've got these, that's Scotty, my son, drinks them. We go out to the noodle house. We call it the noodle dream. And he gets this, Ramune soda. It's got this thing in the top. You push like a little marble or something. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah,
so Lee says, okay, they say tissues, not Kleenex. I get it. Yeah, cool.
got it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's
And
that's a good example. But would you say, in Lee, in like rental cars are rental cars, aren't they? So that you could, what about soft drinks are the same thing. What do you call them? A pop or a soda or whatever you call them. It's still the category. An energy drink is an energy drink, and
I think, Joey, too, we're getting a little too detailed on the name as opposed to the tagline, the USP, the category, the differentiator. Because the name could be, Frisco, Frascoext, Frisco. I just made it up. Well, what is that? Okay, that's the easiest way to do something that you've never figured out before.
it's
Frisco.
yeah, it's more yeah. The name is not the whole thing that we're trying to get
Right.
across here. It is about the category. Like if I said to you, energy drink, what's the first thing that comes to your head?
Red Bull.
Okay, Red Bull. For me, it's Monster.
Right.
No, and I've never had an energy drink in my life. However, I don't think of Red Bull only because, but that doesn't mean I'm right. It just means that the one in my mind is Monster. So if I went to a store, if you said to me, "Go buy me an energy drink,"
Right.
without telling me, I would come back with a Monster drink.
Yeah, and
It's
again, Joey, it has to do with how were you exposed to,
right,
we take energy drink. You're not gonna, next time somebody asks you that question, you'll say Monster, and I'll say Red Bull. Why? I have a history with it. I
right.
ran a sports bar for a while, and we sold more Red Bull than anybody in Texas. It was just the size of the place, and I didn't drink it. And one day I drank a bunch of the regular and non-regular. I did not go to sleep that night because I was just testing them. I didn't really test them with all the alcohols that night. We
Yeah.
did another night, but that's for another time. Anyway, yeah, and once you've created that, you can't really knock somebody off of that. If I
No.
came out with an energy drink and said it's the best energy drink, it's better than Red Bull and Monster because it's got Frickswees in it. And it still doesn't matter. Red Bull. I got, there was a Red Bull van that they loaned us to take people to the basketball arena, and was so involved in that. It's got a history and a story. You got to create the history and the story. Like I said, create the song that they'll sing in their minds that has you in it.
Well, if you look at the two examples we're giving right now about Red Bull and Monster, and I don't know if this is all true because I really don't follow it anyway, but from what I remember, because of like you said, exposure or whatever it is, I'm still exposed to Red Bull. But it's here's the here's what's popping into my head, and I don't know if this is true or not. I think that Monster has also positioned in the energy drink thing. So Red Bull, whatever they say it is, let's call it just energy drink. If you want more energy, drink a Red Bull. I think it's Red Bull get you wings or something, get you more energy. Okay. Monster comes out and says, "We're not an energy drink. We are Monster Energy," which is a completely different category again. Now, I'm just making this up. I don't know if that's all true, but I remember that this is Monster Energy. I remember hearing those words, and to me, maybe that's why it sticks out in my brain. because, oh, it's not just Red Bull, it's not just energy. This is Monster Energy. Make sense?
Yeah, total sense. It's kind of like there's a Vita Coco, which is coconut water. And they've got an interesting story, and it's a unique packaging. And you think that it's pure coconut water because of it. And it's better than all the others because it's Vita Coco. There must be vitamins in that, as opposed to Cocoa Thingy, pure coconut water, coconut Vita. Oh, must be vitamins in it.
Exactly right.
Still coconut water. They just created that.
Exactly
And
right.
again, simple words. It's not a complex thing. It's got to
Dude,
be.
okay, so I just want to touch on what you just said right there, because this is a note here that I wanted to bring up. You said it's like you almost read these notes, but you didn't.
Well, I've got the notes here next to me, next to the outline for the show.
Here it is. The
That's
best
it.
approach to take in our over-communicated society is an oversimplified message. And you just said it. You
Well,
just said it. It's
Joey,
simplified.
in everything that we're doing, you and I and those in our tribes and community and families, for videos, the simpler I can make it, the shorter, the faster that I can make it for somebody to instantly or instantaneously, I'm not really sure the difference yet, but I think instantaneously is just a little bit faster than instantly. If I can instantaneously get them to understand, kind of goes to the whack method we played with, that how fast can I get you to get this thing and not have to spend. I looked at a sales letter from a JV Zoo thing. It was 27 screens that I had to go through. And I'm like, for a $37 product, really? How about we go look at this Google Doc and give me 10 grand after you read the 2 pages? That I don't need to tell the story of the universe. We don't need to create these categories so that we position ourselves as the go-to person that people can say, oh, yeah, again, like a mission statement, I'm big on those. Well, we provide the highest quality goods, products, and services to our customers to ensure that this, it's like, no.
Well, here's another example. And this is like almost a self-promotion of me all night. Anyway, but it's just,
So
here's
what
an
else
example.
is new?
No, so I don't write just copy. What do I write?
What do you write? I don't know. I don't know it well enough.
Marketing copy.
Oh, okay. I was looking for something like, yeah, you write marketing
Simple.
copy.
It's
Yeah.
simple. So if somebody says, who writes copy? All these guys. Who writes marketing copy? Joey.
Well, I'm going to challenge you on that one, Joey, because there's 20 guys I could name right now that write marketing copy.
I'm not saying that I'm positioning against to be one of those number ones, but it's still positioning against. I'm just a copywriter. And what I do is not just write copy. I write marketing copy.
Well, and I think that's an important point, Joey, that just got made was, okay, there's a lot of copywriters out there, but you write marketing copy. You stop there. You didn't have to go and say, okay, what makes my marketing copy so much? No, he writes marketing copy, which positions you different than all the other copywriters. Now, if you want to then say, okay, well, I need to position myself against, but you don't need to, because there's not a lot of marketing copywriters to begin with, and then there's not a lot of really good ones.
Right.
It's not. There's
Well, it's even just about the course itself. Instead of calling it copywriting that sells, nothing wrong with that, or copywriting, brilliance or something.
right. Yeah.
It's what is the course? Write marketing copy. Is that what
Yeah.
you want to do? Yes, I do. Period. It's not the most brilliant thing. I'm not trying to stand on a soapbox here. I'm just trying to give an example for everybody listening to think about, okay, what did everybody need? Or when I at least spoke to people about copy, it was always about marketing copy. It wasn't about sales page copy, even though that's still marketing copy.
Right.
It was,
It
what do
is.
you want me to write copy for? Because I want to market. I want to get in front of people. Okay, great. So it was always about that, and the simplicity and the laziness of the Umbo offer is, okay, I'll just call this thing write marketing copy. And
Well, Joey, to bring it full circle, we're talking about positioning. is, and you shamed me into buying another book that I'll have to read
I
and
should get
report.
some royalties from all these books.
I know. Well, I bought yours. What else you want? In simplifying the positioning of yourself, that another really important piece is, and this is why I'm so bent on an escalator speech and a mission statement, is, and this is what this is about, the positioning, that somebody out there in the world that knows what you do can easily tell somebody, like you said, I'm looking for a coaching pro. Oh, Atlas. I need to, I don't want to become a copywriter, but I want to write marketing copy. Oh, write marketing copy. I've got all this stuff and nothing's working. Well, have you figured out who your dream client was? No. You need dream client connection.
Well, okay, let me hold on a second. Let me advance to or add to what you just said here to bring it some really good context to this, because what you're saying is brilliant here. Go back to the first one was the group coaching thing. Okay. Let's say that somebody said to you, dude, I'm looking for a coaching program, but not like a regular coaching program. I don't want all that crap. Right? They're saying it, in your mind, hopefully will go, oh, you should talk to Joey because he
Yeah,
does an experiential kind of group.
yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say. Not,
yeah.
it sounds like I'm just boasting myself
No,
here,
you're not,
right?
Joey. You're making an important point because you put it out there and people can understand it, know it, and understand. They can then, when somebody says that, oh, you need to go check out Atlas with Joey, but take Dream Client Connection first because you haven't figured that piece out. That's what you've created. And yeah, we're talking about you and your stuff because it's such a perfect example of the category that you've created. You didn't just go out and say, I'm doing a coaching program with a bunch of people. You didn't go out and say, I'm doing a copy program. And you didn't go out to say, I'm going to teach you how to create your avatar. You shook it up and made it different so that people can look at you as the differentiator
Right.
in those three different spaces.
And that's so, and let's go one more, and then we'll go to Fast Video Creator to bring it to you to show the differentiation of what you're doing. Now, if somebody came to you and said, on the copy part of it, and said, look, I'm looking for a copywriter who understands marketing, right? That's a
Yeah.
completely different thing. And hopefully you're going to say Joey because
Yeah.
marketing copy.
Yeah.
Or you could say, I'm looking for a marketer who understands how to write copy. Right away, you're connecting those two things and saying, oh, you should try write marketing copy. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Totally.
It's not
Complete.
just, I'm looking for a copywriter. It's a completely different position.
Mhm.
So in the Fast Video Creator, if somebody said, I want to make videos, but I don't want to go through like the layers of crap of
Right.
whatever, then that's your position. It's like, oh, okay. Because you're not positioning against Adobe, Final Cut. You're
Hey.
not trying to take that position, unless I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. It's
Okay.
basically no bloat, no hidden stuff. It's all right there that you can get in and out fast. The learning curve is so simple and so fast when I know everything else is takes months and lots of money. Whereas no, get going fast, get in and out, get back to what you do. You don't have time.
Yeah. And you're not, and then there's the positioning as well for you is, and I'm just guessing here, just correct me if I'm wrong, would be that there are things you don't do on purpose in
Yeah.
order to position.
Yeah.
Because if, and I've even asked you, like, hey man, does it do this? And you're like, no, that's not what this does. And that's
Right.
a position,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Yeah, another important point, bro. Wow, all over the place. It's just as important. It's almost like the anti-avatar.
yes,
It's what it doesn't do. No, it doesn't do that. And guess what? It's not going to do it
yeah,
because that's not what we're about. If you wanted to do that, go here. But guess what? Nobody else does this thing and this thing and this thing, which is going to all in one. You don't have to go use 5 different things when it's all ultimately built in there. And that's what's going to make your life easier when we get all that in. Nobody else has got this, this, and this to help you do this thing fast and faster and faster and faster.
yep. Another example coming to my brain is Richard Branson's Virgin Airways,
Airways, yeah.
right? And as far as I know, I've never flown it, so I don't know. Maybe somebody can correct me. Uh, there is no. I think all of the seating is the same, isn't it? There's no first class or anything like that. I think it's all like everybody's treated the same. I think that's one of the positioning. I could be wrong about this.
Well, let's take Southwest Airlines, which actually is that.
Okay, so that maybe that's the one I'm thinking of too. That
Yeah,
would be
I
one.
don't think it's Virgin. It's Southwest.
Okay, and it's cheap. Then they okay. You go ahead. Tell the story. I know
Yeah,
you're
no,
gonna.
Southwest is super cheap. There's basically every seat is the same price. And you get there and you line up and you get a pass and they board you by that. There's no elite and elite gold and super elite and first class and military and the only thing that goes first is people that need a little extra time. And then it's all. They also, this is kind of a little different because they only had a few planes when they first started, and it's still true to this day. They were able to turn their planes around faster than anybody because of the efficiency, and it
Right,
made it look like they had more planes in the air.
right, and so thank you, Lee. Yeah, okay. So I'm wrong about Virgin.
You don't
But
get private islands by doing the cheap thing, by the way.
yeah. Well, I know how he started though. That's how he started it because he got bumped from a flight
Yeah,
that the flight didn't have enough passengers. So they said, we're not going to fly because it's not worth it to us.
right.
And he went out and rented a plane and put up a sign that said, I'm going to Virgin Islands, which that's where they were going, $37, who wants to come? And that's how it all started. So I know that story.
Yeah,
And that's maybe why I was thinking, okay, they've got all the same.
Joey, you know too much.
Well, Richard and I talk every once in a while.
I know you got a picture with Richard. You hang out with him. You go to the private island, and then he sends the
I don't
check.
like to make a lot of stuff
You go
public, but
ballooning with him, and then Frank and Brendan and
yeah,
Tony and
we
Rich,
hang together, man. It's like,
you're all hanging together.
so
Top
I
of the
mean,
hour once again, my friend.
the one thing I want to make to get off my head here is about the Southwest thing as well, which is about what they don't do. Because when you go to a Southwest thing, you're not. I think you don't even get peanuts. Like you're not.
No,
You know what you're getting and not
no.
getting, and nobody expects anything different. That's another positioning thing about what they do. Say, look, we're cheap. We're going to get you there fast, and we're going direct,
Yeah,
and that's it.
you get a
That's all
seat.
you're
You
buying.
get a seat and a seatbelt. You're good. We'll
If you
get
get a
you there
seatbelt.
pretty quick, and that's it.
Oh my God, what an amazing another amazing Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday.
Yeah,
Cool.
and JetBlue did the same thing on the East Coast.
Who did? Oh, JetBlue. Okay.
JetBlue, yeah, they kind of dominated the space and took over the East Coast, where Southwest, obviously Southwest, but they brand themselves a little bit differently, and you have a little different.
Yeah, see, that's another positioning with Southwest because
Right.
they only flew to a certain
Yeah,
destinations.
yeah,
They didn't fly all over the place. This is
no,
what we do, and we
yeah,
do it the best and cheapest.
yeah.
Right? That's a position.
There we
Love it.
go. Simple. We do it the fastest and the cheapest. Come fly with us. Thank you.
That's not always the best position to take, by the way.
Well, there's
Let's
something
not end on that one. So,
okay,
but that was
Delta
how
is
Southwest.
ready when you are. How's that?
Scott, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody who's watching on the live. Thank you. Thank you on the replay. Hashtag replay, please. Hashtag live if you're here. Love to see you again next Tuesday when we do this all over again. Take care.
All over again. What episode are we at now, Joey?
I think we're 88,
Okay.
89 next week.
Next. Okay.
Ciao, bro.
Ciao.